Hello everyone, welcome to Foreigner Farming in the Philippines. Well, if I get nothing else done today, I'm going to get the aeration units done for these breeding tanks. I don't know if I'm going to get the cages done for the nets yet, but I'm at least going to get the aeration done. That's going to be my project for the day. I've been pulled away every day this week, and you two knotheads, stop that. Hey. So anyway, that's going to be my project this morning. Alright, what I've done here is I'm using two different sizes of pipe as an experiment. I've got this 1-inch pipe connected to this aeration line as a weight. I tied it on with nylon fishing line. That's 1 inch, and this is 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is a lot cheaper moving forward. If the 1/2 inch is good enough, then that's what we'll use. What I did is I filled them with sand. Well, actually, I learned from the 1 inch. It's almost impossible to get water in it after you put sand in it. So I filled this 1/2 inch tube full of water and then put the sand in it. And as the sand went in, it displaced the water. So that worked much better. So I've got my little strand of nylon there, so I'm gonna attach this to the aeration hose, fire it up, and if they stay sunken to the bottom, it's a victory. Alright, well, I've got this one in, and you know, this end here is okay, but I'm not happy with how much air it's putting out on this end. And I think, well, what I'm gonna lower the water level in this about 6 inches, because these are not pressure pumps, they're volume pumps, and you know, it is slowly. Well, what it is you got to get rid of the water that's in the line, and it's much harder to get water out of those little almost microscopic holes than it is air. I was thinking there might be too much water pressure from the depth of the water, but I'll let that run for another 20 minutes and see how it's doing, because it's doing okay about halfway down. I just don't, it's just not all the way to the end here yet. This one here is doing perfect, and the 1/2 inch line is enough. So now we know, but you have to fill it with the water before you put the sand in it, because just the sand leaves air gaps in between the grains of sand, and it's that much difference in buoyancy to where the 1/2 inch isn't enough. The 1 inch is no problem, and I do have some extra 1 inch line here. I cut a piece of this here, which was going to be we'd put this together here so that we could run water to the first pond cheaply, because we had this pipe, but it's such a reduction in flow that we just bit the bullet and spent the money and got that 2-inch collapsible hose. So we don't need this anymore. It's just extra line, and I can use this to finish up all these tanks. But I just wanted to, moving forward, because there may be a dozen more of these tanks here at some point, so I just wanted to, that 1 inch line isn't going to last forever, so I just wanted to double check and make sure that the 1/2 inch line was sufficient, and it is. So I'm going to do the same thing over here in these two tanks, and then at least the aeration part will be finished. Can't put screens in these yet because they're still full of little fish. That one does have the screen in it, so I can build a frame for it today. And I don't know, that's got, I'm curing this. Because we added a slope to the bottom of this tank and a drain here. That is new cement that was put in, so I'm going to cure it for about a week with these new banana leaves before I introduce fish in it. And this is going to be more breeders. I'm going to thin these breeders out some more and put them in here. And at some point I will get those breeders from Scott, hopefully, and they'll go in these 2 tanks here. And hopefully about all that, when all that comes to fruition, we'll have these 3 tanks here done on the end and a fence put up around this, and then we're going to hold off for a while and let the wallet catch up to the dreams. But this is working fine. It is slowly going down to the end here, so we'll check it in 20 minutes or so, and just to make sure that the bubbles are going all the way to the end. So it's coming out just fine down here, and just fine and then some. So we'll just give it a little time to push that water out of that hose and see how it does. Alright, well, I've done as much as I can do here today. The water, or the air, finally displaced the water all the way down to the end here. It's not a big jet of bubbles like it is over in the very first one. I think it's just the hose. I think it's just not maybe it's not the same manufacturer, I don't know. It's still working well. It's just not working nearly as well as that first one. Lots of bubbles on this end. I'm just on this first one, well, not on the first one, on this one here, I just got one length attached. I'm not gonna, because I've got the banana leaves in that next portion of the tank, I'm not going to I gotta get this out. I'm not going to run this aeration on over. I've just got the first section in, and it's working. It's working fine. So you can see what I'm talking about here. I mean, we're getting a lot of air out of this line. And it's the same pump. It's the same pump. It's the same line. It is coming a little bit farther, but it's just water hose. That's the transfer line, so there's no leak there. Only thing I can think of is the different manufacturer of the hose. It's the only reason I can come up with. I have drained the water down a couple inches in this one, and I'm going to go down another inch or 2 down there. The water pressure does make a difference. But it's working good enough, putting in more air than the air stones still. So I'm pretty pleased with it. So I'm going to build this afternoon, I'm going to go ahead and build the PVC cage for this, so that this one is done. And I might build the cage for that one as well. I just won't put the aeration in it. And we'll see how much time I've got this afternoon. But if I get the cage in this one, then this one is done. And then nets and cages in these after we get the fry out. And depending on how easily we can drain these. Look, they were never meant to be drained. It was always just meant to be pulling nets and screens out. But because we didn't have nets and screens when we put the fry in these, we've got to do it the hard way. And if they're hard to drain, because occasionally you will need to drain them and clean them out quarterly, maybe they will need to be drained at some point. And if they can't easily be drained because there's no slope in these 3 tanks, we'll have to go back and put a little V in the bottom and a slope in them, just like we did that one there. Live and learn as you go. But we're getting there. Thank you, everyone. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.